A question I once asked myself is even is family? It's a question that sort of sparked by a debate I had with my sister actually. So just as a little bit of background, me and my sister grew up in a family that had parents that kind of argued quite frequently, and eventually that led to a divorce where we were both still kids at the time. I was around middle school, and she was like just starting off around high school. And the divorce affected us quite a bit, like a lot. And we fought like all the time. And one of the things that I sort of had as a mindset was that family was always important. And I kind of still cared a lot about my dad, probably like showed it way more than anyone else in the family. And even though he did kind of deserve all the criticism he was getting from like my mom and my sister, I still did I still defended him, even though looking back at it, I shouldn't have. But either way, the point of this video is to talk about what what even is family. Like if someone leaves, like for instance, my dad, like is he still family? Of course, by definition, yes, he still is my dad. But really, when we're talking about, let's say, a friend that has been in my life for like 2 decades, like, or even more, like the majority of my life, and has been there and has helped me out, has gone through so much with me, like, is that person just a friend? Yeah, you can say that that person is just a friend, a very, very, very close friend. But in many ways, that person's also like a brother or a sister, you know? Um, and that's sort of like my sister's mentality on family a bit more. Like family is not necessarily just blood; it's the people that are there for you. And I'm pretty sure a lot of that way of thinking was because of how we grew up and because of the divorce and everything. And I agree with her. I consider some of my closest friends to I think of them as family. And then the other side of things is like, we're related by blood, so we are family, right? That's the definition in many ways. And I still agree and feel that there are people that I barely met at a certain time period, and I still like thought of them as family. I still thought of them like, well, we have like the same, grandma. We have the same, like cousin. It's just like people I met for the first time, maybe at like a wedding or something like that. I'm like, oh, it's like interesting that we have this like familial connection, and I want to get to know them more. And I feel like it's something different with them because of that. Maybe it's completely in my head, but I still feel that like we're connected somehow. Or we are like literally connected by blood and by like people who you know, gave birth to people who have siblings who now gave birth to other people and stuff like that. Like there's a family tree, there's a lineage, there's history there. And I don't think that that can be like replaced. I don't think that but at the same time, like it's a different feeling compared to like actually growing up with someone and making and forming a true real bond and connecting that way. Arguably, that is much more significant. I would argue that's more significant. Like they're actually in your life. Like I have a cousin in China. I probably have multiple cousins in China. I have no idea who they are. Never met them. Never heard their names. Never probably will never meet them. I don't care that they're family. I don't care that they have the same blood running through their veins. Even if it's kind of cool to think about in some sense, I just never will meet them. Probably. So, like, to me, I'm just thinking to myself, like, the word family and the meaning it has and how we attribute that meaning to certain people. It's like a little sort of thought experiment, I guess, a little, like, thing to think about that doesn't have a very, very clear answer. So I'm curious, what do you guys think the meaning of that word is, like family? What do you consider family, and what's important about that to you? Yeah, what makes family family, basically. But that's it for this one. Like there is, like I said, there's no like there's clear definitions and clear like distinguishments between what you consider like family who that isn't blood and family that is blood and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like it's interesting to see how people think about it. You know, how different it is for different people. But overall, yeah, I guess for me personally, I place some value on the fact that we are related by blood. So if I did meet the cousins I just have no idea about in China somehow, eventually in the future through maybe like some connections somewhere eventually, then yeah, I'll be like, well, you know, we're cousins. That's crazy, right? And there'll be some connection there. But at the same time, I don't really value it until I actually meet the person. Um, and at the same time, I still value like the people I am around and have experienced so many things with more than like family I barely ever see, basically. Okay, that's pretty much it for this one. Just my personal take on the matter. Let me know yours down below. Catch you guys in the next one.